Hidely ho there, neighbors. What's up? Happy Thursday, the 23rd day of July, 2020. I'm Dan Kuntz. It's time to play baseball. Yep, the long wait is over. The abbreviated Major League Baseball season begins this afternoon. Don't bother getting a hold of me after 4 o'clock this afternoon because I ain't going to be available. I will be glued to my television, enjoying an ice-cold adult beverage and watching the Yankees and the Nationals do battle in an empty ballpark. That's how it's going to be for a while, but I'll take baseball. I've been waiting for this day ever since they released the abbreviated 2020 baseball schedule. First game, Thursday, July 23rd, Yankees-Nationals. I said, I'm all over that. Circled it on my calendar. Well, I don't have a calendar, but you know what I mean. And now we're here. Baseball season's here, so I'm feeling pretty good. Brief cool down starts happening today. It'll happen today into Friday, which is going to be the coolest day we've seen in quite some time. Spilling over a little bit into Saturday, and then starting on Sunday, the marine air will be exiting the area. In comes a ridge of high pressure, and up goes the temperatures. Whew, triple digits coming our way early next week. Complete forecast details are coming up. Plus, we got the latest news coming your way. Most of it COVID-related, but not all of it. We'll get to that. We'll talk about baseball. Mariner baseball, of course. They start their campaign tomorrow in Houston against the Astros. So we got some baseball to talk about, plus a little bit of Seahawks as well when we get to sports. And we have the Obscura holidays, some celebrity birthdays today in history, and everybody is entitled to Mike Magnotti's opinion because he's got a raft full of them. Let's take you around the valley at 2 minutes after the hour. 66 degrees, 42% humidity. Wind out of the northwest about 14 miles an hour. Going to be breezy. Gusty winds today, tonight, Friday night. So be prepared for that. And yeah, we'll talk about the fire risk once again. We don't want to beat that horse to death, but it's a concern, no question about it. Hot temperatures, windy conditions. It's a bad combination. And this gives you a pretty good idea as we look at our cross camera. We call it the cross camera. Of course, it's adjacent to the cross at the tip of Wenatchee Heights. It gives you an idea of how browned out everything is. That's how it is this time of the year. There's very little moisture. We're in a drought. We're way behind on what should be our annual rainfall. We had an exceptionally dry spring, and now everything is dried out and bone dry, and that's just the way it is. But there's lots of trees, too. Anyway, good morning to Wenatchee, East Wenatchee, Badger Mountain, Birch Mountain, Sunny Slope, and the like. Where are we off to, Megan? We're going to go pay a visit to, that's the Waterville camera, correct? The Waterville camera looking down on beautiful Antioch, the gateway to recreation. That's what Antioch calls itself. Antioch, of course, their old nickname for Antioch used to be the place where you stop and go to the bathroom on your way to Lake Chelan. They changed that to the gateway to recreation, and for good reason. If you've never been out on the bar there where the Antioch River flows into the Columbia River, it's pretty fascinating. A lot of people like to hang out there because it brings in so much sediment from the river, which flows, it's a good 40 or 50 mile drop, and it's a very steep drop, and it brings down all that sand and sediment, and you can stand out in the Columbia River 50, 60 feet off the shore. It's a unique experience, and that's why a lot of people like to hang around where the Antioch River dumps out into the mighty Columbia. Beautiful view there. Again, that's from our Waterville camera looking to the southeast, camera number 3. It's off to see Lake Chelan. That's the Lower Butte camera. Wow, we haven't used that one in a long time. We got 2 cameras on the butte, the Upper Butte, which is the very top of the mountain. That's where those paragliders throw themselves off and float around. And then we have a camera that's a little bit to the north and a little bit lower. We call that the Lower Butte camera. We have not used that one in a very long time. What a beautiful view. Got to start using that one more often. Good morning, Lake Chelan. Good to see you. Get ready for more folks paying you a visit this weekend. They're used to it, of course, by now. Camera 4, where are we off to? I'm 3 for 3. Is that the Tumwater? Nope, don't tell me. I see the Cashmere Golf Course. Steins. Yay, I went 4 for 4. I think I won the office pool. Cashmere Golf Course is right there. It's a beautiful golf course, a little 9-holer, not too challenging, lots of fun. Perfect golf course for the beginner. If you want to learn how to play golf or you want to take the kids out and teach them the basics of the game, I highly recommend the Cashmere Golf Course. You can see the Chelan County Fairgrounds adjacent to it. Of course, there's no fair this year, which is kind of a bummer. And the construction continues on the old Goodwin Bridge, which is, of course, they're tearing it down and building a new one. That's how they had to do it. There's just no other way about it. They had to tear down the old one and put the new one where the old one was. So it's going to be a little bit of an inconvenience, but it's not too bad. We're doing a time-lapse camera, by the way, on that. We have a camera pointed at it at the soon-to-be demolished bridge, and it takes a still photograph once every minute, and we're going to use that over the next year and a half. So it's going to take a while for this to work. They're going to work all the way through to the end of September on the Goodwin Bridge or the West Kashmir Bridge, whichever you prefer to call it. Then they'll take the winter off, and they'll go back to work come spring, and it should be done by September of next year. And it's not only the bridge, of course, there'll be a whole new interchange, there'll be a roundabout, be much safer, because that old intersection was pretty darn cattywampus. I love that word, cattywampus. Don't know what it means, but I love it. Hi, Kashmir. Thanks for joining us at 6 minutes after the hour. All right, got a couple of slides to show for you. Once again, Mother Nature's air conditioning is going to kick in. Wenatchee's in the upper right-hand corner. For you folks out in the basin, you're down there in Poiple. So right around 87, 88 or so today. For the record, we hit 94 yesterday. But the big story yesterday weather-wise, our overnight low was 71. Now, you know you're in the middle of summer when your overnight low is in the 70s. So as you can see, cool down today. It's cooler still Friday. Saturday, comfortable. And then here comes the heat come Sunday and Monday. And we're looking at triple digits. I'm almost certain that's going to happen on, if not Monday, certainly Tuesday, because our overnight lows will be in the mid-70s. Whew. Yeah, so brief cool down, and then the heat returns with the hot dome of high pressure coming our way. Starts building up late on Saturday afternoon. It'll be well entrenched by Sunday, and it's also going to usher in some warm air too. So we have the high pressure, and we have warm air coming our way with it. So there you go. Get ready for some hot weather. And of course, when we talk about hot weather this time of the year, we're talking about fire risk, and it's going to be up there. They still have not issued a red flag warning. You know what the three things that have to happen: hot temperatures, breezy conditions, and low relative humidity. I think we're going to have all three of those. I can't imagine us not having a red flag warning issued. Maybe it's because it's going to be a little bit cooler. Maybe that's why they didn't do it. But breezy winds, low humidity means any kind of fire that can get a foothold is going to take off. We don't want that to happen. So, yeah, not a good combination. It has been. Grant and I were talking about this the other day. Grant's our local weather guy. I can't remember, and I've spent quite a bit of time here. I was born and raised here, as a matter of fact. It's been an exceptionally windy spring and now summer for reasons I don't know why. Usually it gets windy when the jet stream is out of position, but that's not really the case. It just has been windy. All right, Patriot Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling gives your home a hug from the National Weather Service. Here we go. Again, that trough is going to start coming in later on today. It's bringing in some moist Pacific air. So we're only going to get up to about 88, so it's going to be about 6-7 degrees cooler than yesterday. The big story, breezy conditions this morning, a northwest wind about 10 miles an hour. It's going to pick up to about 20 miles an hour later on this afternoon. Gusts near 30 during some periods, including the Wenatchee area, the Waterville Plateau, and out in the Columbia Basin. You're going to see windy conditions, especially later on this afternoon. Tonight, mostly clear, 63 for the overnight low. Once again, windy, northwest wind about 10 to 15 miles an hour. Gusts near 30 overnight tonight. Then the coolest day we've had in quite some time on Friday. This is when the marine air will be at its peak with a high of only 84, which is actually below normal. Again, windy on Friday. Northwest wind about 10 to 16 miles an hour. Gusts as high as 25 miles an hour. In some locations, like the Waterville Plateau, you can see gusts above 30. Mostly cloudy, mostly clear, I should say, Friday night, 56 or so for the overnight low. Winds will start to decrease overnight Friday night as that trough passes out of the Wenatchee Valley in the north central Washington area. In comes that ridge of high pressure, and here comes the heat. It starts on Sunday, 97, 102. Probably right around 100 anyway on Monday. We'll do it again on Tuesday. Overnight lows will be right around 70 degrees. That's mild. It's still hot on Wednesday, so get ready for oven-like temperatures. Again, the last time we hit 100 degrees was August 7th of last year. August 6th and August 7th, we hit exactly 100 degrees. This was last year, of course. That was the only time we hit triple digits last year, just those 2 days. We came close on Tuesday. We had 98 on Tuesday. And a little shop talk, a little housekeeping. Sunrise this morning was at 5:29, sunset tonight at 8:25, 15 hours and 16 minutes of daylight. Again, sunny and windy today, clear tonight and windy, cooler on Friday, still windy. Winds exit Friday night. We start heating up on Saturday. All right, at your forecast at 10 minutes after the hour. Going to take a break and come back with your news. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
Hi, my name is Manuel Navarro, Chief Operating Officer at Columbia Valley Community Health. Patient safety is our top priority, including providing care that just can't wait. With enhanced safety precautions, we want to ensure you that we're able to continue providing safe and efficient in-person care at our clinic. From in-car check-in, ongoing screening, immediate rooming, your family can get the safe care that they deserve here at Columbia Valley Community Health.
From the ocean to the mountains to the forest in between, vacation time can be a fun time. But not if your car breaks down. Call Global Car Care today. Have a service approved over $150 on your vehicle, and Global Car Care will donate an oil change service to one of our local heroes at Confluence Health. Look for more incentives online. Global Car Care cares about their community.
12 minutes after the hour, clear skies, 67 degrees, about 88 for our afternoon high, so a little bit of a cool down. Cooler still, lower 80s on Friday. We start warming up a little bit on Saturday, and then here comes oven-like temperatures starting Sunday and lasting, they tell us, from most of next week. At 12 minutes after the hour, here are your headlines. 1 month away from the scheduled start of the school year, and the Wenatchee Valley's Chief Public Health Officer says it's time to start thinking of school as an essential business. Dr. Malcolm Butler is the health officer for the Chelan Douglas Health District, and he told the local Board of Health on Monday that in-class instruction has the potential to further spread COVID-19, and districts and families need to be prepared.
What I can tell you is we've now started working with the ESD and our school districts, all of whom are working very diligently on safe reopening plans. I can tell you that nobody is as concerned as these professionals are about the health and safety of their kids and their staff. I've been very impressed by the amount of work and concern that's going on as they're preparing. My thoughts on this are that we need to prioritize classroom education as an essential service. I believe that everybody in the educational profession and the pediatricians believe that there really is not a good substitute for classroom teaching, especially in the earlier ages. We need to make educators essential workers, and we need to assure that as essential workers, schools get onto the emergency management PPE distribution list, just like nursing homes, hospitals, and ambulance services. We are not there yet. We are beginning to ring that bell, but I believe that's critical because we're not going to be able to safely reopen schools without sufficient PPE. The second thing I want to leave you with, or thought I want to leave you with, is that schools can be an accelerator of COVID-19. So remember, kids tend to tolerate this well. It appears that they do contract and spread COVID just like adults, although there is some early indication that perhaps younger children are less likely to transmit the disease. But the point is, when the incidence in our community is low, so if we're down below 25 cases per 100,000 per 14 days, the impact that schools would have is low. It is unlikely that kids would contract it and unlikely that they would be in school with it just because the total volume of disease in our community is low. The problem is when the disease burden is high, then schools become an accelerator. So schools are a place where kids intermingle, pass the virus back and forth, and then take it home, and take it home potentially to medically frail or vulnerable people, and or take it home to their parents or siblings who may be working in healthcare or as caregivers for the medically frail. So I want you to think about schools like wind on a wildfire. So schools are the wind, COVID is the fire. If the fire is not burning very high, we can tolerate a lot of wind. But if it's burning pretty briskly, that wind is going to spread it all over the place. And that's our concern about schools. So we have to look upon schools and the essential work of getting kids back into classrooms. That's only going to happen if we can get the incidence down. So getting the incidence down is going to allow businesses to reopen, and it's going to allow schools to have kids in classrooms, which is essential.
So if you're a parent or a student and you got questions about the school openings, the superintendents of the Wenatchee, Eastmont, and Cascade school districts will hold an online forum on Monday at noon with the Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center. Again, it's Monday at noon. You can join that webinar on Zoom by going to the museum's website or their Facebook page. Here's the latest numbers as of this morning, by the way. The State Health Department reports that Chelan County has had 818 confirmed COVID-19 cases, while Douglas County has had 576 COVID-19 cases so far, for a total of 1,394 in the two-county area. The Douglas County Law and Justice Center was closed yesterday for deep cleaning after a staff member in the sheriff's office tested positive for COVID-19. Under Sheriff Tyler Calley said the facility shut down almost immediately after the test results became known. Calley would not say which division of the sheriff's office the infected employee worked in. It's the first COVID-19 infection reported at that building. Of course, last week, you might remember, the nearby Transportation and Land Services building was also closed after a worker there contracted the virus. The new closure shut off access and barred staff from the sheriff's office, the district court, probation, and the prosecutor's office. Those agencies were open only for limited public functions anyway during the COVID-19 pandemic. For instance, the Douglas County Sheriff's Office was managing and continues to manage paperwork for concealed firearms licenses only on an appointment basis. Calley said the Law and Justice building should reopen to staff members today. A Malaga woman is accused of setting several small fires at her Stemilk Creek home. On Sunday, Chelan County Sheriff's deputies say that woman, Penny Lynn Kirk, 43 years old, started 5 fires outside near the porch in the 4300 block of Stemilk Creek Road. This was Sunday morning at about 5:45 a.m. The alleged arson was part of a domestic dispute, and Kirk now faces possible charges of arson with a domestic violence component. Local firefighters, by the way, were able to extinguish the flames. They did not spread beyond the property. The 2 Yakima suspects in that July 6th drive-by shooting in the central Wenatchee neighborhood will now face trial come October. 20-year-old Alexander Lopez and 26-year-old Juan Mendoza Rodriguez, both charged with first-degree assault in the shooting, had left one victim with a wound to his leg. Lopez allegedly admitted firing a rifle at another moving vehicle at the intersection of Douglas and Idaho Streets. Both suspects remain jailed on a $1 million bond. Irrigation water will once again flowing for customers in the Greater Wenatchee Irrigation District. A broken pump last Friday forced the district to cut off water on alternating days for customers. About 1,200 customers at the time in the East Wenatchee area were without water as the district took turns supplying water to the east and west sides of the district. The faulty pump was repaired by Monday, installed at 3 a.m. Tuesday, and, well, it still didn't work. So it was sent back to the Tri-Cities for more work. It arrived back in East Wenatchee on Tuesday night. District Manager Mike Miller said the pump was back in operation by 5:30 in the evening, but he advised customers don't get carried away. Use the water wisely. 2 Mexican farm workers have launched a class action lawsuit against Stemilk growers, saying managers for the fruit giant threatened to fire them if they didn't meet harvest quotas. Columbia Legal Services, the nonprofit law foundation representing the plaintiffs, said the 2 men went to work for Stemilk Ag Services in 2017 on H-2A guest worker visas. And while there, they say, their contract was changed without federal approval, and they were routinely threatened with firing if they didn't fill a certain number of bins of apples per day. Stimmelt has yet to file a response to the lawsuit. Chelan County PUD Commissioner Randy Smith has been named chairman of the Policymakers Council. That's a national group that advocates for public power utilities in Washington, D.C. The Policymakers Council is comprised of 45 elected or appointed officials. They meet twice a year in the nation's capital. Smith has been on the council for the past 8 years. He's been the District 2 Commissioner on the PUD board since 2006. And finally, this morning, probably not the best idea to park in the boss's parking spot on your very first day at work, but that's what a Washington State Patrol Trooper cadet did this week. Here in Wenatchee, Trooper John Bryant posted this picture of the infraction on Instagram. Wondered if the cadet on his very first day of field training should have known the unmarked parking spot belonged to the district commander, or whether his field training officer should have told him not to park there. Bryant did not document the district commander's reaction. And that's what's making news at 21 minutes after the hour. Don't forget, we'll have a newscast for you tonight at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. Eric Granstrom at the sports desk, and our good friend Grant Olson is your anchor with a preview of the Thursday night news. Here's the man himself.
Good morning, Dan. Coming up tonight on the NCW Life Evening News, more on the surging COVID-19 positive cases around our area and the country. I'll have your cooler North Central Washington weather forecast, and Eric Granstrom will be in with a look at sports. That, all the day's news and more coming up tonight at 5, 6, and 10 on the NCW Life Evening News. We hope you'll join us then. Dan?
Thank you, Grant. And don't forget, if you have a news tip, you just want to drop us a note and say hi, we'd love to hear from you, our viewers. You can pick up the phone and give us a call for news tips. The phone number is right there at the bottom of your screen. You can go to our Facebook page if you so desire, and then drop us a line via Facebook Messenger and give us an old thumbs up. If you don't mind, we'd appreciate that. You can email us directly, news@ncwlife.com, news@ncwlife.com, or you can go to our website, ncwlife.com, and click on the Contact Us icon. You can either submit a news tip on the form that'll pop up, or you can just drop us a note and say hi. And don't forget, if you want to comment on the quality of this particular program, we only accept unqualified praise. Just a reminder. We're going to take a break. When we come back, let's play baseball. Games that count start tonight. Games that count for the Mariners start tomorrow. We finally get to talk about real baseball. And we'll do that in 1 minute. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Doghouse Motorsports just won Best Motorsports Store for the 6th year in a row. Is it the great facility? Is it the fantastic products? Or is it?
I'm Bobby.
And I'm Tabor.
I'm Mike. And I'm Glenn.
Hi, I'm Todd.
I'm Jeff.
And this is the Doghouse Service Team.
Hi, I'm Dee.
And I'm Dwayne.
And I'm Kathy.
Come on in and experience the Doghouse.
Are you in the Doghouse?
Green Motion e-bikes have rolled into Wenatchee. We've got fun, affordable e-bikes for the whole family. Portable e-bikes that fit right in the trunk of your car. Fat tire mountain bikes plus unique vintage style bikes you won't find anywhere else. Get some exercise with pedal assist or just cruise up to 20 miles per hour with the throttle. Starting under $1,000, Green Motion e-bikes are affordable fun for the whole family. Green Motion e-bikes is located right downtown on the corner of Palouse and Wenatchee Avenue.
24 minutes after the hour. Let's talk about sports. Ready or not, here come the Seattle Mariners. Yeah, it's a shortened 2020 season, but we'll take baseball. The Mariners finished up summer camp yesterday with his final inter-squad game at T-Mobile Park for Justice Sheffield. He was good. He was dominant. He had 8 strikeouts.
I feel like I have a good handle on it. You know, I think there's always
first couple of outings, kind of getting the feedback out there, getting my feet back under me, getting my mechanics together, and this last one, just really want to treat it really like a game. Try and get that feeling of getting amped up and going after some guys. Yeah, it's more of like a controlled amp, I would say. I think I've kind of learned how to do that over the past couple years. Last year being up here, getting the pitch out here on Big League Stadium, and facing big league hitters. So now it's kind of one of those controlled, getting my emotions up, but not letting it get too far ahead of me and moving too fast. So definitely been working hard on that, and it's good to see it go into play.
Mariner manager Scott Service said, hey, he liked what he saw during camp, and he liked what he saw last night with the final inter-squad game.
Okay, we have officially completed summer camp. We didn't have marshmallows around the campfire, but we are pretty excited to get this thing rolling. Didn't know that we'd get to this point, quite frankly, when this whole thing started and we all got together with all the testing and everything else we were going to have to overcome to get to opening day. I questioned whether it could happen or not, but a testament to our players, the people around Major League Baseball, to put the protocols in place to make this happen. So our guys are excited as heck, as am I. I know it's going to be a quick season. It's only 60 games, but at least we got one. So looking forward to getting to Houston. Tonight's game, I thought Chef was really sharp. Certainly, he's facing wasn't the Houston Astros, the lineup that was out there against him tonight, but it's about executing pitches and making adjustments along the way. He was ahead in the count. That's probably the most exciting thing. You watched Graveman pitch last night, 0-2, 1-2, and 80% of the hitters he faced. Tonight, Chef, 0-2, 1-2, and 75% of the hitters he faced. And that's what's going to take, trusting your stuff and just pounding the strike zone. So, again, we're ready to roll. And another good night by a few of our young guys. Kyle continues to impress. Seems like every night. Evan White again, a good night. Nice to see Vogie square a few balls up tonight. He needed a confidence boost there, so hopefully that'll help him.
Just one sour note coming out of Wednesday's final day of camp. Mariners' most experienced catcher, Tom Murphy, he was placed on the 10-day injured list. He's got a broken bone in his foot.
It is a blow, and I feel really bad for Murph. This guy, he works as hard as anybody that we have, and he's comes to the ballpark, great attitude every day. Things happen. Unfortunately, it just wasn't responding to the treatment. I found out, later today that he was probably going to start on the IL. He's got a little bit of some kind of break, in his foot. It's kind of a weird thing. Even Murph said it's something they'd never seen before. So I'm hoping he's not down too long, but I also don't want him to rush back. I want him to be 100% when he gets back. But, it's baseball. It throws you a bunch of curves. We got to adjust. Austin Nola will get plenty of time back there, as will Joe Hudson.
So the Mariners hop on a plane today. They'll fly to Houston and start the season tomorrow against the Astros for the second consecutive season, by the way. Former Wenatchee Apple Sox Marco Gonzalez will be the opening day starter.
First and foremost, it's a huge honor, one that I do not take lightly, given the responsibility to kind of set the tone for this squad and for this season. And, whether it be short, whether it be weird, I know one thing's for sure, I'm going to go out and compete to the best of my ability and do the best to set the right example for our guys and go win some ball games. So I'm incredibly thrilled and honored, and I just couldn't be more excited.
The Astros will counter with Justin Verlander. You may have heard of him. He's really good. He was 21-6 last year with a 2.58 ERA. First pitch tomorrow, 6:10. You can watch the pregame show on Root Sports starting at 5:30. So we had the shutdown for 4 months or so. We got new rules put into place for the baseball season. Fans won't be attending the games, but I don't care. It's opening day of the baseball season. And it begins with a doubleheader on ESPN. The Yankees visiting the Washington Nationals. And then the nightcap, the Dodgers will be hosting the Giants. Think of it all, since our last meaningful baseball game, which was Game 7 of the World Series, when Washington came back and beat the Astros for their first World Championship, and now we're back. Baseball opening day. Yankees and Nationals, 4:08 this afternoon. The Giants and Dodgers at 7:08. Of course, baseball cannot erase the sting of coronavirus, death, or racial unrest, but it can at least take our minds off for a few hours. So let's play a little baseball. Can't wait. Seahawks, by the way, one way or the other, is going to start training camp next Tuesday, so we're told. The coaching staff is ready. The players are ready. There won't be any fans or games for the time being. One veteran who's eager to get to camp to meet his new teammates for the first time is Greg Olson, 14-year veteran of the NFL. He was signed in the offseason after spending 10 years with the Panthers.
I feel like I have a good handle on it. I think there's always little intricacies of every offense. I run my dig routes for 10 years at 14 yards. They might do it at 12, right? I set my angles on my corners to the inside of the pylon. They might want it set to the outside. There's so many details. Just because on paper it says run 14 yards and run a square, and there's 10 different ways to do that because of the other routes and what the quarterback sees. So there's a lot of detail that you take for granted when you're in one place and you've kind of seen the evolution of that system take hold. I'm now joining a system that's been in place for years before me, and I got to play catch up, not only to learn it, but really be able to put that to life and bring it to life on the field. And it's really hard to do until you get in person. That's why, as I said, I went out a couple weeks ago and worked out with Russ, and it was the first time we were ever on the same field together, talking through routes, going through no huddle calls, talking about signals. Here's how I signal is very different from how Cam signaled. So it's just learning human behavior, learning what quarterbacks see, learning what he wants. It's been a fun challenge, especially at this point in my career, but I'm anxious to hopefully next week finally sit in the same room as my teammates and my coaches and really dive into this.
Olson joins a rather large contingent of tight ends coming into camp. You got him, you got Will Dissly, you got Jacob Hollister, you got Luke Wilson, you got Colby Parkinson, he's an incoming rookie, Tyler Mabry, Dom Wood-Anderson. That's a lot of tight ends. I'm no expert, but sounds like a lot of tight ends. Those are just some of the games that people are playing. On this Thursday morning, 32 minutes after the hour, the obscure holiday, I scream, you scream, we all scream for vanilla ice cream. It's National Vanilla Ice Cream Day. It is the second most popular ice cream flavor in America. Chocolate comes out at number one. Although vanilla is the most common flavoring in North America for ice cream. Most people consider vanilla ice cream. That's just the flavor of ice cream is vanilla. It's like the default flavor. I'm a big fan of those drumsticks, the ice cream concoction, because you can do chocolate and vanilla. It's got nuts, and then you can eat the cone. I could eat that. Thomas Jefferson's vanilla ice cream recipe, by the way, is what they serve at Mount Rushmore in South Dakota. He went to France and discovered vanilla ice cream and liked it and brought a recipe back with him. Thomas Jefferson liked to collect a lot of things, including recipes. His original copy of the vanilla ice cream recipe, by the way, is at the National Archives, believe it or not. Vanilla is a flavor that comes from the pods of the fruit of the vanilla orchid, native to Mexico. Vanilla was essentially unknown to the outside world until about the 1600s. Now it's one of the most recognizable flavors there are out there. And did you know this? Vanilla is thought to be the world's second most expensive spice. The most expensive spice in the world apparently is saffron. I feel bad because I had a big bowl of saffron ice cream last night. No wonder it cost $712. My bad. Enjoy a little vanilla ice cream for you today. Today in history, pictured on your screen, the Baseball Hall of Fame class of 1962. Ed Roush, Bill McKechnie, Bob Feller, and Jackie Robinson. Jackie Robinson, on this date 58 years ago today, became the first African American to be inducted into the National Baseball Hall of Fame. There is no film of his speech, but there is audio of his speech. It's only about 3 minutes long, and if you got 3 minutes to kill today, look it up on the World Wide Web. It's good stuff. This has been going on for a long time, not just recently. Detroit had a really bad stretch of days in the summer of 1967, and it started on this day, July 23rd, 1967, 53 years ago today. The footage is sobering. It all started in the early morning hours of Sunday, July 23rd, 1967. There was an unlicensed weekend drinking club above the offices of the United Community League for Civic Action. The police showed up. They expected a couple partiers inside. They were having a party for a couple of GIs who were just got home from Vietnam. Instead of finding a couple of people having a good time, they found 82 people, the police did, at this party, so they decided to arrest everybody. While this was going on, a sizable group of onlookers gathered on the street. They witnessed the raid. After the Detroit Police Department left, the crowd began looting an adjacent clothing store, and then full-scale looting began throughout the neighborhoods of Detroit. The Michigan State Police, the Wayne County Sheriff's Department, the Michigan Army National Guard all called out to action, but it was early on a Sunday morning, and it took hours for the sufficient manpower to gather. By that time, things started to get out of control, and things got even more out of control. The media decided not to report on it at the request of the Detroit Police Department because they were afraid of copycat rioting. So the police just stood there and watched as the rioting began, and by the time they really took action, it was too late. The final numbers are sobering. The Detroit Riots of 1967, 43 people were killed, 342 were injured, 1,400 buildings were burned. If you've ever heard the Gordon Lightfoot song, Black Day in July, it's about the Detroit Riots, which broke out on the state 53 years ago today. If you're going to take a long airplane flight, you simply assume, you take it on faith that there's enough gasoline in the airplane to get you from point A to point B with maybe a little left over in reserve just in case. That was not the case with Air Canada Flight 143 on this date, July 23rd, 1983. 37 years ago. The flight was between Montreal to Edmonton, Alberta. The plane was cruising right along at 41,000 feet, about halfway on its flight from Montreal to Edmonton, and the plane ran out of gas. They made a mistake when they were fueling the plane up in Montreal. It was like, what did? No gas. They ran out of gas. Luckily, the pilot of this airplane on weekends and on his leisure time liked to pilot gliders, and he kind of sort of knew what he was doing. How was this disaster averted? Two things happened. When they tried to do a gravity to have the landing gear come down, the back landing gear came down, the nose landing gear did not, which actually helped them because when the plane landed, instead of landing on the landing gear on the nose itself scraped the runway, and that helped slow the airplane down more than it would have if it was on tires. And also, as you see there in that photograph, they also used that runway as a drag racing strip, and so they had a guardrail on the runway, and they were able to brake hard and hit that guardrail, and the guardrail slowed them down even more, so they had some additional drag. Everybody got out okay. This is your captain speaking. We're out of gas. Just two things I want: a competent pilot and enough gasoline to get where I need to go. It happened on this date 37 years ago today. And finally, let's do some birthdays. Calvert DeForest, known far and wide as Larry Bud Melman on Late Night with David Letterman and The Late Show with David Letterman. Larry Bud Melman was born on this date 99 years ago today. He died in 2007 at the age of 85. A guy who was really funny for just being himself. Larry Bud Melman, real name Calvert DeForest. We miss him. Born on this date in 1921. Woody Harrelson's a pretty good actor when he's sober. He's 59 years old today. Of course, he became well known all over the place when he played the role of Woody Boyd on Cheers. He got 5 Emmy nominations for that role, won a couple of them. He has 3 Academy Award nominations. Woody Harrelson celebrates birthday, number 59 today. Happy birthday to Sal Hudson, known far and wide as Slash. He's 55 years old today. I'm not a big fan of Guns N' Roses. There's a couple of songs I really, really like, but I'm not going to lie to you. This guy can play guitar. Happy 55th birthday to Slash. Somebody should probably tell him it's his birthday today. And happy birthday to the Glove. Gary Payton, still a Seattle Supersonic legend. Gary Payton is 52 years old today. One of the great nicknames in all of sports, the Glove, for his defensive prowess. He played for the Seattle Supersonics for 13 years. He is still the Sonics' all-time record holder in points, assists, and steals, and inducted into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame in 2013. Happy birthday to the Glove, who wants a basketball team back in the Emerald City. We all do. All right, 40 minutes after the hour, going to take a break. When we come back, Mike Magnotti's got an opinion. It's coming up. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
In the heart of the Wenatchee Valley lies a unique Ford and Lincoln dealership. This is Pat Armstrong Ford Lincoln, home of the lifetime warranty. Pat Armstrong Ford's mission is to exceed your expectations by taking pride in making your car buying experience as comfortable and timely as possible. This mission is consistent in every department, including parts, service, and sales. We are community strong and community safe in East Wenatchee.
Kindness makes a world of difference at Boswell's. Donate $50 or more to charity and save more than ever before on stressless seating. Save at least $300 on stressless recliners and office chairs. Plus save hundreds more with $200 off every sofa seat you buy. There's never been a better time to help others and fill your home with the unmatched comfort of stressless seating. Be kind and save generously at Boswell's.
This hasn't been easy for any of us, and we don't know all that lies ahead. But as local business owners, we can't wait to welcome you back. So as we reopen, we'll be wearing masks. We all have different opinions about them, but standing with your neighbor sometimes means standing in the uncomfortable. And you can stand with us by wearing a mask when you visit.
At Earthwise Pet, we take an all-natural approach to wellness and nutrition. Our professional certified groomers were trained by the best in the Pacific Northwest. Our staff here at Earthwise Pet are all certified in pet nutrition. We are here to help you select the perfect food, supplement, and anything else you may need to make sure your pet is living its best and most healthy life. Earthwise Pet, Nutrition Center and Wellness Spa. Online or in the store, we are here for you.
Badger Mountain Brewing is proud to announce the grand opening of our new kitchen. Come try out our new menu featuring fabulous steaks, prime rib, gourmet burgers, and seafood grilled up by experienced meat master Chef Galen Goodman. To complement your mouth-watering meal, Badger Mountain Brewing features 14 in-house crafted beers, an alcohol-free root beer infused with 11 different herbs and spices, 3 different ciders, and a great wine selection. Don't miss out on the best meats and the best brews down at Badger Mountain Brewing, located at 1 Orondo Avenue across the tracks from the Pybus Market.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, Henry Kissinger, Richard Nixon's Secretary of State, once said that power is the greatest aphrodisiac. I see his point. There's no doubt that people are often attracted to and seduced by those in power, but power works another way as well. And those who have power, it makes those with power feel that they can act any way they want. We've seen it over and over again recently with those men high up in the entertainment industry who have used their power to sexually assault women. I'm gratified to see that these abused women are coming forward, being believed, and that their abusers are being held accountable. Because it's about time us men, powerful or otherwise, treated women with the respect and decency they deserve. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
What's your Automocha emergency?
It's a Frappuccino mocha with whip.
The espresso shakes are my most favorite because I can get any flavor. Peanut butter chocolate Frappuccino.
Definitely the espresso shakes.
My favorite is the mocha Frappitas.
A peach Red Bull.
How much are you paying for adult, family, or assisted living? Epladolin Retirement and Assisted Living offers one-bedroom apartments for one affordable price. Their rates are all-inclusive. No nickel or diming or sudden increases, just one set price. You or your loved one will receive good food and excellent care in a relaxed, home-like environment. Stop on by for a tour to see if the Epladolin family is the right choice for you.
Family-owned and operated Epladolin Retirement and Assisted Living in Cashmere. Affordable care.
What's it mean to be free? To go to work? To go to school? Or even go to the park?
In historic proportions, we've had our freedom jeopardized.
Was it all necessary for so long?
As a business owner, I know what it's like to work with all different people with all different backgrounds.
I promise to work hard, to find common ground. This is a time that we need a leader that's willing to serve the people rather than to be served.
I'm Joshua Freed, and I'm running for governor.
I work in healthcare, and we give all of our employees free Works memberships. Why? Because health is important to us. And when people are healthier, they're better at their jobs, but they're also better at life. And that's who we are, and that's who Works is. Works is not just a gym. It's a place, it's an organization that actually celebrates health.
Good to see you again at 46 minutes after the hour. Still 67 degrees outside of our studios. Quite a bit of sunshine today, a little bit cooler. Highs will be in the upper 80s today as opposed to the 94 that we hit yesterday. Some marine air is going to push in. It's going to cool us down even more on Friday. The big weather story between now and basically Friday night into early Saturday morning is going to be the wind. And then starting Sunday, we're going to start heating up. And it's going to be even warmer next week than it was in the early part of this week. Complete forecast details are coming up. But first, one more look at what's making headlines this morning. 1 month away from the scheduled start of the school year. And the Wenatchee Valley's chief public health officer says it's time to start thinking of school as a business, an essential business. Dr. Malcolm Butler is the health officer for the Chelan Douglas Health District, and he told the Board of Health on Monday that in-class instruction does have the potential to further spread COVID-19, and districts and families need to be prepared.
What I can tell you is we've now started working with the ESD and our school districts, all of whom are working very diligently on safe reopening plans. I can tell you that nobody is as concerned as these professionals are about the health and safety of their kids and their staff. I've been very impressed by the amount of work and concern that's going on as they're preparing. My thoughts on this are that we need to prioritize classroom education as an essential service. I believe that everybody in the educational profession and the pediatricians believe that there really is not a good substitute for classroom teaching, especially in the earlier ages. We need to make educators essential workers, and we need to assure that as essential workers, schools get onto the emergency management PPE distribution list, just like nursing homes, hospitals, and ambulance services. We are not there yet. We are beginning to ring that bell, but I believe that's critical because we're not going to be able to safely reopen schools without sufficient PPE. The second thing I want to leave you with, or thought I want to leave you with, is that schools can be an accelerator of COVID-19. So remember, kids tend to tolerate this well. It appears that they do contract and spread COVID just like adults, although there is some early indication that perhaps younger children are less likely to transmit the disease. But the point is, when the incidence in our community is low, so if we're down below 25 cases per 100,000 per 14 days, the impact that schools would have is low. It is unlikely that kids would contract it and unlikely that they would be in school with it just because the total volume of disease in our community is low. The problem is when the disease burden is high, then schools become an accelerator. So schools are a place where kids intermingle, pass the virus back and forth, and then take it home, and take it home potentially to medically frail or vulnerable people, and or take it home to their parents or siblings who may be working in healthcare or as caregivers for the medically frail. So I want you to think about schools like wind on a wildfire. So schools are the wind, COVID is the fire. If the fire is not burning very high, we can tolerate a lot of wind. But if it's burning pretty briskly, that wind is going to spread it all over the place. And that's our concern about schools. So we have to look upon schools and the essential work of getting kids back into classrooms. That's only going to happen if we can get the incidence down. So getting the incidence down is going to allow businesses to reopen, and it's going to allow schools to have kids in classrooms, which is essential.
If you're a parent or even a student and you have some questions or concerns about the school openings late next month, the superintendents of the Wenatchee School District, the Eastmont School District, and the Cascade School District will be holding an online forum. It happens Monday at noon in conjunction with the Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center, and you can join that webinar on Zoom by going to the museum's website or their Facebook page. The latest numbers on COVID as of this morning in our area are this. Chelan County has had 818 confirmed cases of COVID-19, while Douglas County has had 576 COVID-19 cases so far, for a total of 1,394 cases in the two-county area. Speaking of COVID-19, the Douglas County Law and Justice Center was closed yesterday for a deep cleaning after a staff member in the sheriff's office tested positive Tuesday for COVID-19. Under Sheriff Tyler Calley said the facility shut down almost immediately after the test results became known. Calley would not say which division of the sheriff's office the infected employee worked in. It's the first COVID-19 infection reported at that building. Now, last week, you might remember, the next door Transportation and Land Services building also closed after a worker there contracted the virus. The new closure shut off access and barred staff from the sheriff's office, the district court, probation, and prosecutor's offices. Those agencies were only open for limited public functions anyway during the COVID-19 crisis. For instance, the Douglas County Sheriff's Office, for the time being, is managing paperwork for concealed firearms licenses only on an appointment basis. By the way, Calley said the Law and Justice Building should reopen to staff this morning. And a Malaga woman is accused of setting several small fires at her Stamilk Creek home on Sunday. Chelan County Sheriff's deputies say Penny Lynn Kirk, who's 43, started 5 fires outside near the porch in the 4300 block of Stamilk Creek Road about 5:45 in the morning on Sunday. The alleged arson was part of a domestic dispute, and Kirk now faces possible charges of arson with a domestic violence component. Local firefighters were able to extinguish the flames, and they did not spread beyond the property. That's a quick look at what's making headlines on this Thursday morning. We're going to take a quick 2-minute break, and when we come back, we'll wrap it up with your weather forecast. Cooling down, heating up. The roller coaster is here. The weather is 2 minutes away. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
Your valued downtown businesses are being hit hard. COVID-19 isn't going away. So our community needs a pathway to not only safely reopen the economy, but keep it open. To develop that pathway, we need accurate information on the number of COVID-19 infections in our region. Our healthcare providers and community leaders came together to launch testing that will provide critical data we need to reopen businesses and keep our community safely open. Testing is voluntary and the results are completely confidential. More information on that is on the way in your mailbox. This ask is simple, and with your help has potentially huge positive outcomes for our community. Helping each other is something we treasure in this place we call home. Will you help?
At Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
Arctic Refrigeration and Heating, serving North Central Washington, is proud to offer the finest heating and cooling air quality products along with prompt and professional customer service since 1984. Regardless of the temperature outside, Arctic is here for you. Arctic offers a variety of services: residential and commercial heating, air conditioning, commercial refrigeration, as well as planned fall and spring maintenance for the overall well-being of your system. Call Arctic Refrigeration and Heating for your heating and cooling needs. And we have returned 68 degrees outside of our studios. If you go by Celsius, it's only 20. Let's look at the forecast one more time. I want to start out with the two slides that the National Weather Service sent down the line for us to send along to you. And as I mentioned, we're going to have a brief cool down. Not going to last too long, but a couple 3 days. If your air conditioner's been running nonstop, you'll have a pretty good chance on Friday to maybe shut it down and give it a break, because that's going to be the coolest day. Wenatchee is in the upper right-hand corner of your screen there, as you can see. So we'll be in the upper 80s anyway today. We hit 94 yesterday. 94 it was our high yesterday. Our overnight low on Wednesday was 71. It was mild. So cool down a little bit. There's a trough of marine air that's going to push into the valley and into the viewing area. It's also going to bring with it some gusty winds. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. So not bad. Cooler still on Friday. In fact, we're actually going to be below normal for the first time in quite some time on Friday. Friday afternoon, not bad. Saturday afternoon is when this trough of marine air begins to leave the area. By the time Saturday night comes and goes, it'll be gone. That will allow for a ridge of high pressure to build up, and it's going to usher in some pretty hot air. So we're going to go right back into the 90s again on Sunday, and we're talking triple digits on Monday and Tuesday. That's then. This is now. And of course, now means wind. Had a little bit of wind yesterday. It's very strange when you get up at the hour that I get up, which is very, very early in the morning, and it's windy. It's usually not the case, but it's going to be windy today. And that means, of course, with breezy conditions, low relative humidity, any kind of fire can get going. Now, the good news is we're not expecting any kind of thunderstorms. A thunderstorm or a lightning strike would be really bad. So if any kind of fires do get going, they will almost certainly be man-made. But if they get going and they get a toehold with the wind they're expecting today, tonight, and especially tonight and Friday, watch out. Could get something going again. I wouldn't be surprised if the National Weather Service issues a red flag warning. I don't think it's going to be hot enough today or tomorrow or Saturday to quantify a red flag warning, but it's still a possibility. I wouldn't be surprised. So let's go ahead and take a look at that forecast from the National Weather Service. Sunshine today, high of about 88. Again, it's going to be breezy, a northwest wind anywhere from 10 to 18 miles an hour. But again, those gap winds, and we've talked about it, the Cascade gap winds can pick up, and we could have gusts at 30 miles an hour in the Wenatchee area, the Waterville Plateau, Leavenworth area, out in the Columbia Basin. Could get breezy. Well, it is going to get breezy, but it could get downright windy in those locations. Clear tonight, 63 for the overnight low. The wind will not be dying down tonight. It'll stay right about that 10 to 20 mile an hour mark. Again, out of the northwest, gusts as high as 30 at times tonight. Friday, more wind, cooler still. High of only 84. That might be the day to go ahead and give your air conditioner a break. I plan on doing that. It's been running nonstop for a while now. Northwest wind about 10 to 20 miles an hour on Friday. Gusts near 25 or 30. Friday night, little bit more residual wind. 56 for the overnight low, but you'll also notice when you get up Saturday morning, the wind will all be gone for the most part. As the trough begins to exit the area, we'll be getting up near 90 on Saturday, and then wowee. Again, the combination of a strong ridge of high pressure, and when the high ridge begins to come in and become established, it's actually going to usher in some hot air from the south. So it's a bad combination if you don't like the heat. We go from 97 to 102 to 101 to a much more comfortable 98 by the time we get to Wednesday. So get ready for some serious heat after we have our brief cool down and, again, windy conditions into early Saturday morning. That's it for us. Have yourself a good and safe Thursday. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.